Today, I'll share with you a situation that a friend of mine, we'll just call him Mike, not his real name, but just so we have something to work with. And perhaps you can relate to Mike's situation. So we'll cover that first and then kind of get into the details of it. Now, Mike is living in California. He's just over 50 years old, but to look at him, you would think that he's maybe 35, 37 at the most. He figured out several years ago that dating in the United States is simply not for him. He can't find what he's looking for in the United States. Maybe if he scoured the countryside, he might find it, but it really is just way too much squeeze for the juice. So what he's been doing for quite some time is focusing on two things. One is his health. He is very disciplined in what he eats, and he's very disciplined in his workout regimen, which is why he, again, does not really look his age. He's very physically fit. And you would think that would improve his odds of attracting the kind of woman he wants. Now, I know what your question is. What kind of woman does he want? Well, what he wants is a woman that is somewhere between a 6 and an 8. He doesn't want really an 8, 9, or 10. He's not looking for a trophy girl, but he wants a woman that he finds attractive, who has a humble spirit, a kind heart, and would make a great companion in life. He's really not asking for much, but he still can't really find it because there's not much of that in the US or much of Canada, UK, the West. So instead of chasing women or looking for a mate, he's been focusing on his health and his wealth. And that's something I highly, highly recommend for any of you who find yourself frustrated. Do not just burn up day after day trying to salvage through what's available in the dating realm. Put your time to good use. Work on your health. Work on investing what you can. The money that you would have spent dating a woman, even if it's $50, $100 a week, start learning about investing, whether it's traditional stocks, you may be interested in crypto, which is my personal favorite, but don't just squander that money you would have spent on dating. Invest it in something. It's very easy nowadays to open up your own brokerage account or an account with an exchange. And again, even if it's just at the end of the day, you got an extra $20, don't store it in the bank, invest it. So that's what Mike has been doing. Now, another thing he's been doing is he's been working a job which at this point now, if he waits another 2 years, he will get a pretty good pension. And this is prior to collecting on Social Security. In 2 years, he could move to the Philippines. And if for some reason he thinks that it's just not for him, he could move back to the United States. And on that pension, he could afford to live in the United States. So now we're getting at the crux of his situation, his decision, his fork in the road that he needs to make about what to do. Up until now, he's been thinking he will just bear it out. He shows up every day. He's surrounded by woke culture, older women who vehemently hate the idea of him going overseas to have a happier life. But he's been telling himself, well, if I just push through for another 2 years and put up with this, I can get on a plane and have roughly $3,000 a month, which is double what you really need as a single guy to enjoy the Philippines and have a decent apartment, do some dating and some traveling and all that. So while I was in California, we got together a few times and literally talked for hours about this and other things. And he kept tossing around the question to himself and to myself, would it be better to wait and work the 2 years and have the $3,000 a month? Because he could retire right now and still get roughly about $2,800 a month. So after shifting around the different pros and cons of it all, my ending comment to him was, that's a decision only you can make, that you can evaluate, but I'll tell you what I did. I walked away from a great career working for a Fortune 100 company, Abbott Corporation, which was previously Guidant Corporation. I had amazing benefits, great bonuses, which were what other guys were even making in a whole year. I walked away from all of that because even though I was still in my late 30s at the time, the one piece of information that had a big impact in my decision to retire after 21 years with the company was the phrase, "Tomorrow is promised to no man." There is no guarantee that you're going to live another 2 years. Now, there's no guarantee that you're not. And that's the whole thing. It's a mystery. You really don't know. For the last 5 years or so, a popular theme in movies with the Marvel franchise has been the idea of multiple universes. And what would happen if you decided to do this? What would happen if you decided to do that? Well, obviously, the outcomes of your life would be completely different. If you married this woman, or you decided to stay at the job, or you decided to go to the deli across the street and get hit by a car versus just go down to the local Chinese place and grab something and get on with your life. So we never know the impact that one simple decision will have into the future. Now, one way of looking at this, and some of you may agree, is just tough it out. You've toughed it out this far, do the extra 2 years, and then go to the Philippines fat and happy with $3,000 a month coming in. And I can see some advantages in that. Now, like I said, in my own case, I walked away from a high salary, high benefits, everything, and several years later, I went to the Philippines on a much lower income. And those of you who have followed me for the last 12 years can attest, it's been a pretty amazing and fun adventure. And here I am now, still enjoying it, loving it, and I count it as the best decision I've made in the last 15 years. Now, the other side of looking at it, which I proposed to him, was why wait? Why torture yourself? You already have what you need to have the sort of life that literally millions of men would give anything to have your opportunity, but they can't. For various reasons, whether it be they owe a lot of debt, they owe a lot of child support, they have obligations taking care of their aging parents. There's a wide variety of reasons why a lot of guys would love to jump on a plane and live the tropical life in the Philippines, but they can't. And here, you've got it for the taking. All you got to do is decide and go. That's how I look at it. All of us can think of people we have known over the years, might be a relative, a coworker, a friend. You wake up, it's just another Tuesday. You just talked to your buddy the night before. You're planning on going out for hot wings that weekend, and then you get a call from their relative that they passed away during the night. I had this happen with a close buddy of mine in California that I had known since I was 14 years old. And he was only 40 years old at the time. It came right out of left field. And maybe that did have a big impact on why I see things the way that I do. Time is more valuable than money. You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. You can use the time you have wisely. You can plan out your day. You can be efficient about what you do and have more time in the day to rest or do other things you want to do. But you can't manufacture time the way you can manufacture money. At least that's the way I look at it. Again, I know some may disagree. And I've gotten this question over the years in different forms. I've had guys contact me online or in person, and they say, well, I'm coming up on 61. Next year, I'll be 62. American citizens can start claiming their Social Security pension at age 62, but it'll be a lower amount per month. If they wait till they're 67, then they get what they call the full retirement benefit. And they're facing the same question. Do I wait and get that extra couple thousand a year, or do I go now? Myself, I decided 62. And really, when you look at the numbers, there are websites that will do the numbers for you. Waiting until you're 67 does work out to your advantage, presuming you're going to be in good health into your 90s. But because you're collecting 5 years earlier at a lower amount, it can be argued that you're getting more money before age 67 during the time period that you're still healthy enough to take advantage of it. Because imagine if they would extrapolate this even further and told you, well, we'll give you 5 times your retirement if you just wait till you're 85. With that kind of situation, the government wouldn't even have to pay out because a lot of people wouldn't even make it to 85. And that's what they're counting on. A lot of people that wait till they're 67 don't make it. So how much does the government pay in pension for that person's retirement? Zero. So what is it that would make a person wait longer? It comes down to a sense of security. Retire at 67 with more money than retire at 62 with most of the money. And really, like I said, this guy that we're talking about, Mike, $3,000 a month, when he only needs $1,500 a month, he could be living in the Philippines a month from now and still be investing $1,500 a month into the market. Would you rather wait longer until you feel you have a secure amount of money? Because that's a good argument. Nobody wants to move to another country and try to get by on $700, $800 a month. Do not do that. If you don't have $1,500 and all you can come up with is maybe $1,100, you might be able to pull it off if nothing goes wrong. If you're not crossing the street and get hit by a tricycle and now you got a bunch of medical expenses, or like another buddy of mine, he went for a 1-week trip to Palawan, he got chronic food poisoning. And by that evening of his first day was in the hospital. And he was in there for 4 days on an IV with antibiotics. So you just never know. And you need to have money to take care of those sort of things. Yes, medical care in the Philippines is much cheaper, much cheaper than it is in the United States or the West. But you're still going to need to pay the bill when the time comes. Feel free to share in the comments. What are your calculations? Would you rather wait longer with a little bit more sense of security? Or would you rather just say to yourself, I've got the $1,500 a month. Time is ticking. We're burning daylight. It's time to get to the Philippines.